And you're on the punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez.
Punchline. The punchline. I'm trying to get on here too. It's been weird trying to get on, man. Like everything's not coming on like it's. There it is. All right.
And with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna have to do
Kelly, what? I'm having my day here, man. Everything's fucking up on me. All right, guys. What's up, Esteban? Fucker, I'm a fucker upper.
All you YouTube mofos, you gotta hurry up. Talk today too.
Yeah, you guys gotta talk.
Ask questions.
So, before we get started, Everything Boxing KT is watching. Hey, guys, if you're looking for a show that's something different, and you're looking for a different kind of boxing show that's actually, like I can say, it's completely 100% unbiased. KT's good at coming out and telling you the truth about how he feels about things. So tune into Everything Boxing by KT. Also, it's called KT Boxing. You'll see him on Facebook. You'll see him. He does a lot of different shows. So tune in, guys. It's a different take on sometimes what we talk about. So that's what you need. I mean, sometimes you need the two different takes to form a good opinion other than just ours. So yeah, tune in. Great show, and I like him a lot.
Eso.
What's up, Zach?
And Mark are on.
I had to unfollow Zach on Facebook because he kept stealing all my memes. Like every meme, he would steal them, and he wouldn't even like my memes. He just steal them, and I said, "That's like the worst thing in the world when you steal memes and don't like them." You know what I mean? And I know it's my meme because I made the meme. I'm like, Zach's stealing my shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we got
Anytime.
Mark from New Zealand, I believe, NZ. He said, "Good morning."
Slavin said, "Where have you guys been? We were here last week, Slavin.
Where the hell were you?
Where were you?
Yeah.
No, he was here. I know he was here last week. I remember him. He's one of our guys from like the Viking countries.
We hung out in Turkey.
And how was the fight yesterday, Kelly? You went to?
They were good. Geez, oh man. Well, they were all right. I should put it that way.
Is Youngstown Box being revived?
Not from that card. A lot of big fights fell out. Hey, let me tell you.
All right.
Man, what I did, guys. I seen the worst robbery, and I know some people are out there like, "Oh no, Rocky didn't." I have my buddy Rocky Nofi. He made his pro debut.
I heard he won. A lot of people said that.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna explain so they could understand. And he came out, made his pro debut. He ain't fought in some time.
Yeah.
He looked good. The one thing that he did wrong was he was not busy enough. He didn't throw a lot of punches. But when he did throw them, hand speed looked good.
You think that
everything
a 240-pound heavyweight?
Well, yeah, that's another thing too. And this is pro debut. He's worried about getting tired.
Yeah.
But he threw great punches. So if he's going to lose the fight for not throwing enough punches, then that other kid should have been disqualified. The kid didn't throw nothing. And the whole entire fight, Rocky was backing him up.
Yeah.
And one person said, well, you hit Rocky with little shots when Rocky missed. No, first of all, he didn't. And that's enough. Rocky dictated a whole fucking fight. Like he backed him up. He backed him into the ropes. Actually, in the third round, I was like, you know what? Good test for Rocky. Good fight. He got the pro debut in. He's going to win this fight. And I turned back around. I heard a scorecard. That was putrid.
So where is Rocky going to keep fighting?
I think so.
Or is he just done with the situation altogether?
Right, because I think he looked good.
At least they ass-fucked him early in his career, not a world title fight.
Yeah, I would say if I was him, fight another one.
Right.
See how.
Everything boxes. Devin Haney knockout of the year so far. I would say it's one of them.
It's up there.
I would say between right now, I would have him and Inoue would probably be one of the up there for knockout of the year.
Michael Donahue says, "What do you guys think about Pacquiao versus Thurman?" I think that it's a hard fight to really pick.
I think it's a dangerous fight for Thurman.
It really is, and I know people are going to say like, no matter who you pick in that one, it's hard because the situation comes in. Pacquiao's 41 years old, 40 years old, and he's and that shit happens. People get old at different times and different stages. And Pacquiao could show up and he could be 40, 41 years old that night, and Thurman's young. And but Pacquiao could also show up. I think if the young Pacquiao shows up, he beats Thurman.
To be fair, everybody's had him losing for the past two fights, including myself. I had Broner going to beat Pacquiao, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I thought Broner was going to beat him. And I know it's a crazy pick, but I just thought the age would show up. I've been proven wrong twice already. So I don't think I'm going to be proven wrong this time. I think Thurman gets beat. I think if Thurman spent more time focusing on his training and less time talking about training and talking shit, he would look a lot better than he looked against Josecico Lopez.
That's what I'm saying, but it's a hard fight to pick because if you get it wrong, you will have them guys like, see, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And it's one of the fights that's hard to pick. It really is.
No, I absolutely. I'm not saying I just think that. I just think Thurman does not do well with volume guys like that. And Pacquiao's a volume guy.
Yep. But we know how we are because I'm falling into that fucking trap of who your picks. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
who you get right. But that's mainly because you got a lot of shit talkers out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could compare my record to any day to theirs.
It's true.
You know.
Rocco says, "Hey guys, I'm back from a full back lapsonectomy. Man, well, get well, Rocco."
Oh yeah, he's been having some problems.
Yeah.
Happy Memorial, dude.
You know the thing, like I don't know, but you know what? When we base our picks, Kelly, and you know we talked. I talked to you about this the other day. When we base our picks, we base it after a fight breakdown. I don't base on anything else. We don't base it on your skin color, your race, whatever. It's clearly facts, you know, on what and how I base it. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be right 100% of my time on picks because I'm not. I'm going to.
We have one lose. Today with the Lomachenko situation.
Lomachenko, and then now I heard Inoue the other day saying they weren't impressed with Inoue. Lonnie said he wasn't impressed with Inoue. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? How can you not be impressed with Naoya Inoue at any point in your life? And it comes, let's face it comes down to other things than boxing. And I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying that. It comes down to other things than boxing. People are so fucking ignorant.
It's, you know, and it has become an issue in a lot of it. Again, I don't know. I like watching the fighters. I like, you know, when they're good, they're good. And again, that's why I keep going back. And like a broken record with the Lomachenko, like show me somebody that's accomplished what he's done. The only other one was who you meant anyway.
And even he hasn't accomplished that yet because like of the weight class he's in.
The one guy today was saying about, oh well, you know, he struggled against Pedraza, this, that. I say struggled what? Because he got hit finally 12 times in one fight. I said, you know, then he said Linares. I was like, yeah, he got dropped by a really hard puncher. Yeah. I said, and because he got comfortable, he was winning the fight, and what did he do? He turned back around and got pissed off and knocked him out. He beat Gary Russell in his third pro fight. Gary Russell was 24-0.
Yeah.
When he fought him. And Gary Russell got the fastest hands in boxing and everything else.
The shit out of Gary Russell.
Mm-hmm. And then a lot of people said, well, Gary Russell wasn't ready yet. If they fought now, it's a totally different Gary Russell after that fight. I'm going, that was his fucking fourth pro fight. What do you think? Now Lomachenko's got 13. What do you think's going to happen? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, he's getting old now, you know. But Damon, hey Damon, how you doing? Everything boxes. Pac didn't impress me at all his last few fights. I definitely got Thurman. Don't expect the same Keith we saw for Laugh. I don't know. Keith does not do well on the return. He does not do well being counterpunched. Keith is not a guy that has to push you back to be effective. And if he cannot outwork Manny or get him back on Manny's back foot, because Manny doesn't fight well off his back foot. No. If you can't keep Manny off his back foot, Thurman's in for a rougher night than we think.
And it's true. Unemployed says, is it true that there will be no drug testing for Pac and Keith?
I have no idea. I couldn't answer. Rocco said, Kelly, you can answer this better than me. How many times have you seen a better conditioned fighter get dropped by a guy that looks like out of shape?
A lot of times. I mean, shit happens.
Dude, they don't put muscles in the chin.
And you get caught, and it don't even have to be a power puncher. You can get a guy who can't break an egg, but if he catches you on that button the right way, may not knock you out, but he's probably going to drop you.
Yeah. Luis said, reason why Pac waited to see how Danny Swift Garcia looked and chose Keith. Exactly. Sakura Armstrong said, any given Sunday is what I say. Anyone can get an L depending on variables. Look at J-Rock. Absolutely right. 100%.
Michael Donahue goes, sorry if you covered this last episode, but what did you guys think of Billy Joe Saunders' last fight? I thought he looked slow at super middleweight. I didn't think he looked slow. I thought he looked good. I'm not impressed with him right now. When he goes in and he beats a named guy, and unfortunately that's what it is, then I'll be able to say, you know what, this dude's legit. So he steps up.
And a lot of times, too, with Billy Joe Saunders, it might be the layoff. You know, he has his share of personal issues. I'm not going to bash the man on it. That's his personal life, and what fighter spends his money on, what he spends his money on. I'm a proponent of people talking people are so worried about where a fighter puts his wallet and where he puts his dick. I could care less. I just say that the long layoffs might not have helped him in his fight, because the longer you do lay off, the rustier you do get. And a lot of sparring might help a little bit, but the only way that rust completely comes off is through fighting. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're funny you said that too, because there's a lot of motherfuckers that have nothing in their wallet and nothing at all, or putting their dick and fucking up all over the
Right?
place.
But or spending their weekly
It's
paycheck.
funny how society is, man. That is fucked.
Spending their weekly paycheck at the fucking bar playing
Exactly.
Keno, right? And then bitch at a fucking millionaire fighter for playing Keno on the weekends.
That's exactly how it is, man, and especially like around here, that's exactly how it is.
Oh, dude, it's everywhere. It's not just there. You'll see them in Oxnard. Can you believe it? They'll be like, I saw Brandon Rios at El Dorado getting drunk. And what's the fucking point? That's why he gets punched. No, he gets punched because that's the way he fights.
Yeah.
He goes to El Dorado and gets drunk because he can afford to get fucking drunk.
Yep.
Can you believe it? I saw Mikey drinking a beer.
That's probably why he's fucking your wife.
Fucking your wife. No, I saw Mikey drinking a beer. Did you really? Oh, shit. I didn't realize the man was 31 years old.
Yeah.
Drink a fucking beer.
That's the way it is, dude.
Everything Box says, nobody has accomplished what Loma has in the sport short period of time. Gary Russell's my guy, but he beats Russell again for sure. He dominated the fight. I agree. And,
That's not taking anything away from Gary Russell.
It's not taking shit away from Gary. I love Gary Russell.
I think it's going to be hard for anybody to beat Gary Russell right now.
You know how I am about Leo on him, but I could go either way. That fight for me could go either way. Most people would have Gary Russell beating Leo. I just think Leo's a bigger guy, and a volume puncher beats a counter puncher. But like I said, if I had a nickel for every time I'd be wrong, fuck.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's what I'm saying. I take nothing from Gary Russell. I think Gary Russell is a fantastic
That
fighter.
last fight, he looked fucking great, didn't he?
Yep. Well, we got to get into some of these.
go ahead.
You want to get into some of these fights?
Yeah.
You want to wait till after our call in today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donovan says, why is Russell in talks with Eddie Hearn? Would DAZN even have 126 to Gary fight? Looks like Gary Russell Jr. is going to continue to fight no one. DAZN is pretty good at putting their fighters on smaller cards with other promotional companies. DAZN is one of the better companies at being able to utilize Golden Boy and Top Rank. So for a smaller guy, it's probably not as hard. It's the bigger, more established, the bigger guy is going to be harder. But I think what Eddie Hearn is trying to do is just corner the market. The more fighters he has, the more pulling power, the more power you have. Do I like what DAZN's doing? Personally, no. I think there's a lot of issues there, but like I said, who knows?
Well, they're bringing fights, though.
They're bringing fights.
They're bringing us the fights. I mean, everybody's tuning in, at least from our talk show and podcast. People are tuning into it.
Esteban says, question for you, Kelly. After each one of your fights, did you notice a difference in your attitude? For example, maybe feeling like you can't wait to get back in the ring, or maybe feeling like you want to enjoy the time between fights. Did it change as you got closer to retirement?
Yeah, it did. I'll be dead honest with you guys, and I'll come out, for all the shit that was out there. When I won the world title, I actually started counting down to retirement instead of counting the bigger fights. And I'm not going to lie. And there's a lot of people like that. And I fought a good amount of fights after I won the world title. And I always got up, and I was always in shape for them and fantastic shape for the fights.
You had 5 years of career left, right?
Yeah, but that's the way that it is. I mean, and of course, again, I still took big fights, and I bitched and moaned about wanting the big fights. But for the most part, was like, get this one over, get another one in. And then that's where the retirement came in. When I got with Robert Garcia, I was hoping that Andre Ward fight would have happened. But at the same time, too, and I'll get you guys like in depth how it goes. Before a fight, and I know most fighters are, unless they're lying about it, but you get so nervous and you're kind of like dreading the fight, you know what I mean? But you're just fucking like all worked up, and I always play the negatives that could happen. But when I left that locker room to walk to the arena, I also put in my head like, dude, I'm in fucking tip-top shape, and there ain't no way that this dude's in better shape than me. There ain't no way that he's going to be able to withstand my power, speed, this, that. And then as soon as the fight was over, you couldn't wait for the next one. You know what I mean? Like, you got back and you got out of the ring, and you're like, yeah, man, I'm fucking ready to go. Even after I lost, it was kind of like, dude, shake it off, get back in there, go back to the drawing board. So it's weird. You get a whole bunch of different fucking emotions. I don't know if it's from the punch, the brain being rattled.
Maybe because you're a competitor. You know what I mean? What's the name of the fighter we have, Justin, coming up?
Antonio Nieves.
Antonio what? Nieves? Hey, today, you guys, on Punchline, we're having Antonio Nieves on. He actually fought Naoya Inoue, and he also 18-2. So he has a little bit insight on Inoue.
He's got a
From
fight coming up on June 8th at the MGM.
Yes.
Yes.
he had
June
a
8th.
he had a fight June 8th at the MGM, but he was a junior bantam. He fought Inoue, and we're gonna have him in, and maybe he can give us some insight on what Inoue did well. I don't want to badger him about Inoue because nobody wants to talk about a loss all the time. Zach, I like HBO too. Hey, today we have also on watching his 2000 Olympian Dante Craig,
Oh, hell yeah. What's up, Dante?
one of the best amateurs I've ever seen.
I fought Dante, and he beat me.
He beat a lot of people, man.
Yep.
You guys ready? I'm with you.
Yeah. Who do you guys
Hey guys, don't go away. We're gonna do an interview with Antonio, and we're gonna talk about Inoue a little bit. Talk to him about his fight, and just don't go away. We'll be back to answer your questions and talk about these fights.
Hello.
Antonio, you're on the punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. How's it going?
Going good. Can't complain. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yep. How's everything? How's camp winding down? We'll open up with that.
Camp's going pretty good now. You know, it's everything's falling into place as it should be. Weight's coming down as it should be. Peaking pretty good. So just getting ready for 5 weeks to get everything together.
Good.
Cool, man.
So has anything changed from this camp to your prior camps, Antonio? How's everything? Is there any difference? Have you noticed the way you're training, the way you're eating, things like that?
Not much. Just making sure that everything is being done the right way. Making sure that I'm eating the right meals. Making sure I got enough energy and enough rest to do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, you taking control of your dieting, or do you have somebody doing that for you?
I have someone that pretty much like a nutritionist that helps me, and Bobby Khalil.
Okay.
But pretty much I do everything. But when I have questions, he's the one that pretty much tells me how to go about it, what to cut out.
Antonio, you have some fans on here already.
Yeah.
Donovan Cass said he saw you fight at the Superfly 1 card at the StubHub. He said that you dug the body crazy in that fight.
That was against the champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good tough fight.
So you're fighting June 8th, is that correct?
That's correct.
And who are you fighting?
His name is Jose Alfredo Rodriguez from Mexico.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, the Mexican fighters will give you some work. I mean, that's, at least he'll give you some rounds, you know what I mean, before you put him away.
Yeah. What are you doing as far as training camp for that? You bring anybody in certain, or do you guys do that? You bring certain styles and that try to mimic your opponent?
Yeah, we actually have a kid that's undefeated pro fighter, and he's a little heavier than me. I think he fights at 126, 130. And Ramiro Hernandez, Mexican, comes forward, throws a lot of punches. So we're using him right now. He's one person that I use for a lot of camps for that pressure type fighter. So he's a little heavier than me. He throws a lot of good punches, so we're using him for this fight.
Okay. Cool, man.
You have a lot of people curious about your fight with Inoue. I know nobody wants to talk about a loss or anything like that, but can you give us some insight on how good that Naoya Inoue really is? Because a lot of people are asking. There are a lot of people are so curious about him. He's kind of like that dark horse that just overnight got popular, and a lot of us in the sport's been following him for years. Can you tell him? Is it legit? Like the power, the skills on this guy?
He's legit, man. I'll tell you one thing. At first, I was a little skeptical. I'm like, man, he's coming up from 108. Could he really hit this hard? And he can. A lot of times, as a fighter, you fight a guy that punches hard, so he's not really as fast. Or you fight a guy that's fast and he really doesn't hit as hard. But this guy, he has it all, man. He's quick. He got a good general ring. He's good in the ring. He hits hard. He throws his hands fast. He knows where he wants to be at the right time. He's just all around a great fighter, and
Yeah.
I give him pound for pound. He's one of the best, and I hold my head up high because of that.
Yep.
I'm the last person to go past 2 rounds with him. His last 5 fights, he's fought 3 or 4 world champions, and they haven't lasted the second round.
You're true.
Yeah, we.
You know, and that guy, he's incredible, and we're fighting him and and I didn't want to, my corner stopped the fight.
Yeah.
I was able to continue. I was taking punishment. I understand that, but as a fighter, I still had that will to, hey, I'm gonna keep fighting as much as I can, and then keep going with it.
Well, champions like you go out on their shield. You know what I mean? Most of you, it's going to be the corner because you're trained to fight, and that's all you're going to do. Whether no matter the outcome, you're going to keep fighting, and that's what separates you from the guy doing construction down the street or delivering packages from FedEx.
Exactly.
Right.
Hey, we got another question for her, and I could ask you on that while we're in it real quick. Who would you pick in the Inoue versus Donaire fight?
I'm gonna pick. I know you because he's younger. I believe he's quicker right now. I think Donaire should just come out and try to land his hook first. Because that kid, if he lands, you've seen his last fight. Once he lands 2 or 3 hooks, you're going night-night.
Yeah.
Donaire, he's a veteran in the game. He's gonna know how to defend himself. I just think the kid's quick enough to get to the chin.
I guess my question with that would be, how is my only question, Inoue, like come 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th round? His conditioning.
Nobody's seen that yet.
I know.
Exactly. That's what we're all curious to see, if Donaire is able to take him that far, take him to the deep end, to see what we expect from him. But as of right now, he's just taking everybody out. If he hits you clean, you better make sure that you're biting down him up, because that boy could bring it.
Hey, champ, you have another question here. It says you were the NABO champion. So many disregard the smaller titles, but how important was it for you, and how much did it help your career to win a smaller title and have a belt?
That title that I won, that's just a stepping stone to the next one,
Oh, yeah.
And you got to pay your dues, and that's one of the dues that you got to win to show people that, you're a contender. So for me, it was great. It was motivation, like, say, hold that belt, and just visualizing it holding a world title.
Yeah.
So
well, that belt's important too. I mean, when I won the NABF, that's what. If I didn't win the NABF, I probably wouldn't have got a title shot so quick. Those belts like that are what put you.
20,
yeah,
right?
they put top. Some of them put you in the top 10. If you win that belt, that's where you know that you're a contender now.
It just knocked Virgil Ortiz into 9, right? Him winning that belt.
Exactly. So those are important belts.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you looking at staying at the weight you're at, or are you looking at a move up possibly, champ?
I'm staying at 115, 118. I don't have no problem making the weight. I make it easy. I think right now I'm about 5 or 6 pounds off. I got about 2 weeks left.
Wow.
So there's no really struggle in the making the weight. So I'm gonna stay here as long as I can, and hopefully win a world title. That's what we're shooting for here after this fight.
Well, I watched a lot of your YouTube videos, and I definitely think that's something in your future that you're going. I was just wondering, the big money right now is anywhere from 22 and up, and that's what I was thinking. A lot of fighters will chase that money, but it's more important for me, and now that seeing that you're chasing legacy, which is much more important, and it talks about your character more than anything else.
Yeah, my whole thing is I'm gonna win this world title this year. I'm gonna win this world title, and then after that, I win my world title. I'm gonna see what the next options are. But to me, it's important to win this world title, and I'm gonna win it in 2019. I mark my words, I'm gonna win this. I know that Juro and Canas has that 115, and
yes.
We're shooting for him after this fight. I'm not looking over this guy at all. I'm gonna go in there and put in the work that I have to do. But I got goals that I want to meet, and he has that 115, and I'm gonna take it from him and come in at the end of the year.
You got a question from Damon Martinez, and he wants to know, do you want to fight Inoue again, or are you moving on?
It's that fight's always in the back of my mind. One reason that I fought this kid, that he's lighting everybody up. So I definitely, if it comes up I'll take the fight again, because that's a fighter that I want to get in there and work it again, and hopefully come out with the victory. But that's a fight that's a dangerous fight, but you got to be on your toes. You know, you get into this game to fight the best, so I definitely want to fight him again. I'm gonna try to get my world champion and then see what it is.
And of course, the best that, you know, you always want to take care of the fight at hand first and worry about that later. So
Hey,
I'm
champ.
sure you know that.
Kelly. I'm sorry about that.
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
champ, where do you walk around at between fights? What kind of weight? I mean, where do you normally?
135.
Okay.
135. I might push 138 if I'm eating real good and having a good time, but about 135 is typically what I walk around at.
You're Puerto Rican, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's why that's what I'm talking about. The arroz con pollo. Mm-hmm.
Rice and beans.
Yeah.
Twice a day.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was gonna say. When you said he's Puerto Rican, I said I know he eats good.
It's a good mix of carbs and protein.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But not for. It doesn't help being a fighter.
No, it don't.
No.
Plantains and local quito.
Yeah, definitely on a hot day, so you drink a coquito. That's just gonna make you more hungry.
You're right up right now. You're right up Kelly's alley. He's like cold drink on a hot day, coquito.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, that's
Coming to hang out.
Come and hang out. Yeah.
Definitely.
So my question is, what's your goals for the next few years? I always ask a lot of fighters because a lot of fighters you'd be surprised when you say what's their goals, they're like, well, I really never thought about it. I guess just to win this next fight. I mean, what are some of your goals in the next 2 or 3 years in the sport, other than winning the world title?
Definitely winning the world title is obviously number one. You know, and defending it a couple times and possibly moving up in weight to see if I can get another one in a different weight class and go from there. But the main goal is to win one. Get one under my belt, defend it a couple times, and move up and try to win another one in a different weight class.
That's a good goal. And you know, I have no doubt that you're going to make it. You know, like I said, it's really an honor having you on here. I mean, it's great, and
thanks for having me, man.
You have 2 new fans. I know me personally. I'll be excited to watch you fight.
And now you got Justin's number. You can keep us posted on everything, and then maybe we'll get you back on after the fight, after your victory.
Definitely, you know, I'm a call away. You guys always can call me. I'm always in, you know.
Don't tell us that. We'll be sending you a bunch of memes and shit, ruin your whole day.
Hey, man, I'm not worried about it.
But we'll definitely we will be up. You know, we will be there for your fight, and I just want to let you know how proud we are, and you're representing the area well, and and I mean, can't wait to see you fight and win that world title.
I appreciate that, man. You know, I'm just working hard, working hard, just doing what I gotta do, not leaving no stone unturned. And come fight night, I'm gonna be ready 100% for this guy. That is scheduled for 8, but I'm not looking for it to go to 8. It should end early.
It sounds reasonable to me. Make it an early night and go spend some time with the family.
Yep, move on to the next one. So
yes, sir.
Hey, well, Antonio, man, best of luck, and hope that everything goes as planned for you, and then we'll be in touch with you for sure.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me, and we'll be in contact soon.
Thank you, champ. I appreciate it.
All right, have a good night, guys.
You too, man.
That was Antonio Nieves, and he will be fighting June 8th at the MGM Cleveland. So we're gonna make that one, right?
King Savage
gotta
said,
make that one.
I'm hoping he gets the opportunities. He fought anyway very well, and it seems he has disqualified him from great fight opportunities. Well,
sometimes
he's got time to make up on that.
Sometimes it's funny because sometimes you're so good, you do hurt yourself when you are good, Yeah. And sometimes you're so bad, but in his case, he had a good showing, and it scares a lot of other people. It's
another thing I was kind of tapping into, like last night on a couple of things. Some fighters that keep fighting that are their records are way under 500. I mean, they're like 2-8.
2-9,
2-9, 5-6, 5-5,
3-4,
and my thing like that is at that point you might as well find a new hobby because it's hard. I mean, you're not going to get a big payday. So you might as well throw a world title out of the question because you're not going to get a shot. But even for an up and coming or a prospect, your $20,000-$25,000 paydays are probably out the window too. You know what I mean? At that stage, because most prospects are going to be early on 6 rounders. but at a guy like this, what is 19-2?
18-2, yeah.
18-2.
Which is respectable in the boxing
It is,
world.
and you lost to a guy like Inoue, and you went probably one of the longest against Inoue. You still have opportunities out there like this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could go and win a world title, and you're just a couple fights, and it's hard even at that stage to take a loss. It's a setback, but you have time, and people know that, and so I think he's got a bright future here in the next couple of years.
I agree. Zach said, "I'd kill to be able to go that card." Well, get your ass in gear and go the card. Yeah. Ryan says, thank you for having him on. Oh yeah, it's our honor. You know, if you can't support your area, and you know, if you can't support your area, you're not doing your job. I mean, these are the fighters in this area and anywhere in the Ohio area. So
Michael Donahue says, have you guys had a chance to watch Cordell Booker? He's a prospect at middleweight.
I have seen Cordell Booker
against last night.
Yep, I have seen Cordell Booker.
Well, let's tap into the.
Before we go, can I say something that I was noticing? And tell me if you agree. I see these managers, right? These fucking shithole managers say, I have a 2-time world champion in my camp. And then they bring a name, like, who the fuck is that? And I look, and he was a 2-time UBF or ABE or ABL world champion. And I have to kind of explain he's not a world champion. No, he is. He won the UBF title twice.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, fuck. There's a difference. Do you see that a lot? I have a world champ. I have the heavyweight champion in my stable. You do? You're training Deontay Wilder? No, I'm training Brad Booger. He's a UBF world champion.
And if you say something, those are the ones that'll argue with you more than anybody.
My God.
But
they'll call you a casual, or you don't know shit about you don't know shit about boxing thing that's been played out for 20 years. Yep. The Freddie Pendleton and Orlando Salidos are very few and far between. They are, but Freddie and Orlando were special fighters. You know what I mean? Even Freddie, with at the time 14 losses, was a special fighter, and that a lot of that can be attributed to him taking fights on 2 or 3 days notice and things like that.
And that's where sometimes records get messed up. It's not the manager, it's not a promoter. It's the fact that a lot of fights come up quick, and these guys will hop into them. And a lot of times that's the fighter's fault too.
And just not doing the right things.
The fighter could say no.
Yeah.
You know, like some of these fights they lose, they're not getting paid shit really for it. You could be better off staying home and being a sparring partner at somebody's camp.
You know, well, let's get into some of those fights. I know that we wanted to do that.
I like that. How about that big heavyweight that won? The Croatian, I think.
Yeah. Oh shit. Hey, help us out with that, guys.
Croatian.
Yep. Oh, and they're talking about. There was a question asked too about Tevin Farmer versus Russell. You know, Russell's a small guy, man. He's a 26, but he should be 20. He should be a 22. But even so, I think Russell's better than Tevin Farmer.
I think so.
I think Russell's better.
Again, not knocking because he lost, or not knocking Russell because he lost to Lomachenko, but Russell is one of the most legit fighters out there right now.
Dynamic. But again, and let's talk about the Devin Haney fight last night. Shit.
Ooh.
What a knockout. And you know what? I've seen Devin Haney, but I've never been like really invested in Devin Haney. Like it's not anybody. Sometimes we just do that, you know.
I know he was a talented fighter and he's good, but then you sit there and you watch that. I mean, listen, opponent, he was there. He was a guy, to be beat. But I think Haney did more than what he was supposed to do. I thought he just totally dominated that fight and had fun with it. But
Donovan said, did you guys do a clusterfuck of boxing viewing last night? I was watching all the fights simultaneously, ESPN, PBC, and FLS browser pages on my computer and my tablet. We do that, and they pick weird. Hard. They always pick nights that there's local stuff going on, and Kelly had to cover that. And the fights.
What was that? Last week or 2 weeks ago? There was 3 different networks with fights on, and it's hard. It's hard to keep them all together. Who did what and how the fight went and how to break down the fight. Especially now that we do the show on a Sunday night. Yeah. My schedule, I wish guys I had the time to sit around on my ass and watch all the fights and dissect them, like be really anal. Yeah, be really anal with it. But unfortunately,
no.
Like today, the Sunday is one day that I usually, if I'm not doing powerlifting with the team, that I'm getting shit around the house done or like hanging with like family time.
Kids,
But I do try to catch them every Saturday night. Last night I had a local show, so I caught some of these fights today.
Yeah. And I was calling you last night, bugging you about them.
Yeah.
But Alicia, who always watches, always has cool stuff. Alicia Contreras, She said, "You guys think Russell will sign with DAZN in the future? Seems unhappy with Al." I don't know, Alicia. I think, I don't even think it's so much Al, because I think it's it's with Gary's manager team. He hasn't had the most.
He has some injuries too.
Oh yeah, but what's the word I'm looking for? He hasn't had the best management team. They've kind of held him from fights. And if he thinks he was shelved with PBC, wait till he gets to DAZN and see a whole different level of shelving. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter where he signs. It's just the weight class he's in. And sometimes a lot of these fighters think they're worth a lot more than they are. Like they were talking about what he was calling Leo Santa Cruz out last time, and he called Leo Santa Cruz before. And then when they had the fight ready to go, Gary Russell said he wanted more money and pulled the fight, and then he calls him out again.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, he's not in a situation to call shots like that, but, we'll see what happens. Eventually, like I tell everybody, between the promoters and fighters, eventually fights are going to come and they're going to be made, and they're going to have to. If not, then they get beat up for it. And hopefully some of these fights ain't when they're past their prime.
Right.
But Damon said he got a good one. He says, which KO was more explosive, Devin Haney or Wilder?
Wilder.
Yeah.
I don't think nothing on this planet was more explosive. No. I think that plane hitting the World Trade Center wasn't as fucking explosive.
Did you see that fucking meme?
He left his fucking body. The one that you sent me with his body? What happened?
What, man?
Did you see the one where he left his body and he was looking at his own gloves?
You fucking pushed to the limits. Oh, fuck.
It's A.
Yeah, but that one where fucking his body leaves and comes back.
His body left and he was looking at his gloves like this, and he went back into his body and took the knockout.
Oh, that was funny.
Dude, whoever made that, the gloves even looked hilarious, didn't they? The gloves looked like pillows. He was looking at him like this.
But, I mean, for the most part, though, Devin Haney's knockout's definitely going to be up there for knockout of the year. I mean, even if there's 20 more brutal knockouts, I'm still going to have to put that one up there. That was brutal.
But tell me you didn't see it. You didn't see that right hand coming like...
and everybody knocks these DAZN, DAZN commentators like Sergio Mora. I
like Mora.
I think Mora does a fantastic job.
His Spanish is god-awful, though. I will tell you that. When he translated, I go, that's not what the fuck she said. Mm-hmm. Did you see that last night? When he was translating?
How could I tell?
Oh, he was but he was translating for that for the female fighters, and he was translating, and I'm like, that is absolutely not what she's saying. But okay, carry on.
Yeah, I thought he did a fantastic job on that.
He just steps in. I like Mora. I like Sergio Mora.
Yeah.
We have some stuff here. Hold on.
Everything all right?
Everything Boxing said. The big heavyweight looked impressive to me in a short time in the ring. I liked his confidence. Yeah, I agree. The body shot setup was nice too. He was looking for that another knockout shot. That's why his hands were down. I agree. I just knew that right hand was coming.
What, that one that Mora called too?
Yeah.
In that fight?
Yeah, I just knew the right hand was coming to the way he had his hands. He's going to hit this dude with the right hand. It's going to be Coyton's.
I didn't get to see that one either.
Ryan says that you would do great working on a big commentary. We agree. That's what you should be doing.
Well, y'all should start petitioning and sending letters to DAZN and other people, guys. Him Martinez goes, how about Austin Charles fight?
I saw Austin lose in that fight. I saw Austin lose, but they gave it a draw. I don't know what happened in that fight, but I still had it close.
I heard a lot of people saying that they thought Trout lost.
I did.
It was a good fight.
I think Trout just at the age where timing is caught up now.
Yeah.
And when he does reach out for you, you're not there, or he's just not doing enough.
I like Trout too. He was cool as hell in my camp.
Yeah, Austin was a great fighter.
Shit, that was a long time ago. That was already going on 9 years ago.
I did watch that, Donovan. He said, if you get a chance, check out the Lopez Rivera on the Herring and Vito undercard. Let me tell you something. You didn't watch that, the Puerto Rican?
No.
Well, Lopez, his father was Hector Lopez. Remember him?
Yes, I do remember.
I sparred with Hector, with Hector Lopez in '93, back when he was just a tattooed gangsta. But yeah, he was really good. But I saw him, and I think everybody was going for the Puerto Rican kid last night. You know what I mean? They were all going for Rivera, thinking he was going to walk through him, which he did hurt Lopez. And Lopez just came out of nowhere and just knocked him out. I was like, holy shit. What a great fight. And that just goes to show it don't matter. It doesn't matter what a great prospect you are. Your night can end like anybody else's. They even had Antonio Vargas. Did you see Vargas?
I read that.
Dude, the fucking Olympian was knocked out one punch KO.
I don't understand. And those are big setbacks in the young fighter's career.
Yeah.
I mean, fights like that, it's hard to get back on track. A lot of times promoters, they lose interest after that too.
Sakura said, faded at the end. I agree, Sakura. Trout showed his age, and Trout's been showing his age, but I really think Trout lost that fight. And I love Austin Trout. You know, I've had a chance to work with him some years ago, and I just always one of my favorite guys, one of the nicest guys. But you have to call a spade when you think they lost, they fucking lost. Because I'll give a guy. I'm one of those guys. If I like you, I'll go the edge of the earth to defend you. You know what I mean? Like, are you sure? But
I have to go back and watch that 2 more times.
I can't give you like with Mikey and Errol. I'm gonna have to watch that again just to make sure.
I had to come.
I know, but you know what I mean. Let me watch that one more time just to make sure some of those rounds weren't swing rounds.
And Damon goes,
I had 10 swing rounds.
Jamel Herring, guys, good performance. Agree or disagree?
I want to get to that.
What I read, I thought it was a good performance,
dude. I was totally on the fence with this fight the whole time because you know why. Jamel's a homie, and Rudy, Ito's trainer's family to me. So, but sometimes in boxing, I think that we get it right. I think sometimes a guy who deserves to be a world champion finally gets to be a world champion, and I'm so happy for Jamel Herring. Fantastic job last night. He worked well behind a jab. He just boxed. He didn't fight Ito's fight. He didn't want to slug and get in the. He fought the way he was supposed to. He fought discipline, and that's all. And that's a big up to Bomac. And why he's not the trainer of the year, I fucking have no idea at this point.
I watched it. I mean, like I said on the highlights of it, it looked like they kept showing him putting that jab right into the face and setting everything up. Jessica says, they say styles make fights. How does one adjust to 2 fighters with different styles? For example, Warrington and Valdez versus Valdez. To the style, I would see Valdez losing due to Warrington's fast combinations and energy.
Do you have an answer?
Oh, I don't know one.
These guys are professionals. Valdez is an Olympian, and they've seen every style that you could see. They've seen boxers, they've seen brawlers, they've seen that. And and Kelly can answer before anybody else or more. If you're a world champion or even that good, you learn to adapt to different styles. You know how to fight different styles because that's something that your camp should be working on.
Exactly, that's where I was going to go. Yeah, in camp, you're supposed to bring in guys that emulate the guy that you're fighting and that mimics the style and how he fights. And some camps, even if you couldn't get a guy in or you didn't have the promoters or anybody to pay for the training camp, you get somebody who fights like that and you make them turn southpaw or orthodox or one way or another. You try to do it as much as possible. So you have to learn how to adapt.
I have a question for you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Actually, what fighter was the hardest to prepare for you? I mean, prior, not to fighting him in camp, what was the hardest for you to prepare for, you think?
Probably Martinez.
Who did you have to bring in for that, for sparring?
Trout. Austin Trout.
Did he? Oh, yeah. Was he able to emulate him?
A little too much.
Hey, listen, a little too much.
Listen, I like, I told you I love Austin Trout. But that motherfucker could have probably ran a mile in 3 minutes for as quick as he ran around.
Fucking Dr. Roger Bannister.
I mean, I don't think he threw. He was like, he fought kind of afraid. There was another good talented kid, a really good gym fighter. There's guys that are like gym rats that are better sparring partners than they are fighters.
They just don't do under the lights.
Yeah, and the kid Darrell Richardson sparred him also. Then we brought in Ernie Gonzalez, who was a standout fighter. I mean, tough kid, great amateur fighter too, and we used him for that. So it was a good sparring. I mean, I think we even used Darnell Boone. He would turn southpaw a little bit for that and spar with me.
Darnell is a very low key, intelligent fighter. Like people don't let it, like people's record. His record is very deceiving. They get in there, they think they're getting a 500 guy, and they're getting a guy that can fuck you up on any given night. Yeah,
well, I think Darnell's now gotten older, and I think he notices that. But he was. I mean, shit. Look what he did with Ward. Look what he did with Adonis Stevenson.
Kovalev. He beat Kovalev. He just didn't get the decision. But that's what they were talking about. That Freddie Pendleton and Salido is far in between. I think Darnell Boone was one of those guys that surprised you. Yep. Wasn't he the first person you ever sparred with?
Yeah. Well,
he sparred with you. You were the first person ever sparred with him.
I'll tell you guys a story. Darnell, if you're watching, man, you'll love it. But real quick, Jessica goes, "Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate it." She said that I would do an awesome job along with Ward and Jones commentating.
I think you would.
Thanks. I do appreciate that. Darnell Boone was, and you guys are going to kick because all you guys know Darnell Boone. So Darnell was really had a hell of a street cred for knocking everybody out in a street fight, man. He was a badass dude. And he was walking past the gym and he came in and I was already, I think I just turned pro and I was knocking everybody out. But I was skinny as shit. And he comes in the gym and he sees all these other like big built dudes and Jack goes, well, who do you, he's like, I'll beat anybody's ass in here. And Jack goes, well, who? He's like, you know, pick who you want us to work with. And I was standing there kind of like hoping he'd pick me and knowing that he was going to pick me. And Darnell looked right over in the corner. I was on a double M bag. And he's like, I want to spar that cat. And everybody in the gym just went, put their head down and started walking away. And I laid it. I mean, this is the first time
he picked the white dude, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's the first time, to his credit, that he ever put a pair of boxing gloves on. And he came in that ring and I mean, I laid it on him.
You humbled him?
Yeah, and I thought after that, I swear to God, because I've seen it so many times in the gym,
Never come back.
I thought that he was never going to come back. And that dude came back the next day and was humble, but he told Jack, he's like, I want to learn.
And you laid it on him again?
No, I didn't. I didn't spar him no more. And I tell you what, and then what a fighting. And, you know, every time I sparred him after that, it got harder and harder. So.
I bet. Roger Romo's on. Roger has a question for you, Kelly.
True.
He said, watching Mayweather versus De La Hoya right now. I only gave Oscar 3 rounds at most. How'd you guys have it? I think I had it 17-11 for Mayweather.
I gave Oscar like 4, maybe 5, and that was mainly due because he put the pressure on, and and Mayweather went on the ropes, and we all know when a guy stays on the ropes and the other one's throwing more punches, even if he ain't landing, you gotta give him the round. But I've seen a lot of people say that fight was a draw.
Oscar won.
And absolutely not.
No.
Floyd Mayweather won that fight.
17-11 is 9-3, right?
De La Hoya was a lot bigger than Mayweather, and Mayweather knew that once he got him and tired him out and fought the way that he did, that De La Hoya fades in later rounds, and that's why Mayweather goes down as one of the smartest fighters also.
True. Before we go in, hey guys, Roger Romo's watching. Roger Romo's one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the sport, and actually, up-and-coming trainer has fucking the #1 ranked WBO fighter in the world, Patrick Teixeira from Brazil, an Olympian. Also, he's worked with Lomachenko as his strength. He helped with strength and conditioning with him, and Kovalev and Usyk and Vostok. His
So on and so on.
The list goes on and on for him. And he's the younger brother of the great Fernando Vargas, which is fucking awesome. But I think Roger's cut his own niche. He's not Fernando's little brother. He's a fucking great trainer.
Doing his own thing.
His own thing.
And it's looked past on his training because of his strength and conditioning. But Roger, and I say up and coming, he's really been doing it for some time now.
Yeah.
But, you know.
But his name's out there now.
Yeah, but his name's out there more for the strength and conditioning. So he's not even really up and coming. I mean, Roger's been doing his thing at training fighters.
I'll tell you what, though. His mitt work is next level shit.
It is.
It really is good. He has that right.
What I like about the way he catches pads is that he constantly gives his guys a look at roll movement in the ring. So not only are they hitting pads, they're keeping up and they're using footwork without even noticing that they're using footwork.
Yes.
And where it becomes second nature to them because he moves and he bounces around. He does the half steps, the angles, and the guys turn, follow, and are throwing punches. But they're more concerned about keeping up with him and being in position to hit the pads. And that really does benefit the fighter and help the fighter out. It truly does.
And one of Roger's gifts is he's able to emulate almost everybody he's in the ring with. He watches them and he can emulate them, which is a rare you got to be athletic. And he does that. He gives the opponent the look of the fighter he's fighting. So I'm sure it helps.
Yep. Damon got a question. He says, is Keith Thurman ducking the other welterweights to fight Pacquiao, or is it a legitimate passing of the torch? A smart business move for Thurman?
What do you think, Kelly? I don't know.
I think it's kind of a good move for Thurman. I mean, there's some money out there for Pacquiao. Maybe Thurman's looking at it as a safe fight because Pacquiao's older, and so he gets a bigger bang for his buck, or gets a bigger buck for the bang, I guess. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's the way that he's looking at it, and it's still a dangerous fight for him. So I say I give more kudos, actually, on this fight than most, because anytime you go in there with a guy like Pacquiao at that age, you stand a no-win situation. You beat a guy, he was old, past his prime, or you stand a chance of having a guy who's 41 years old or 40 years old beating you. So it's dangerous.
You know, and like I always say a lot of people say these fighters are scared I'm not saying Damon's saying it. I'm just saying you hear, oh, the fighter's scared. These guys are competitors. These guys have been fighting since they were basically shitting in diapers still.
Yeah.
They're not scared of each other. It's all business at this point. It's sense. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. If I was Keith Thurman, would I want to right away just jump in there with Spence or Crawford and then possibly lose, or most likely lose, and lose devalue myself?
And I think that's why I'm saying I think this is a good fight for him to fight Pacquiao at this stage. No, he does not want a second fight back after 2 years or over 2 years to fight Crawford or Spence right now. He don't want that noise right now. Let him get this fight in with Pacquiao, see speed again, because Pacquiao, older or not, is going to have a little bit of speed.
He's gonna have more speed,
more so than the average welterweight.
Yeah,
and I think it could be a good fight. But I'm gonna hit two.
Also, I think Thurman winning will cause more of a call for those fights, and it'll raise the interest, and there's more money. It makes sense.
It does. Hamed got two good ones in Jessica. I'm gonna hit real quick. Hamed says, Kelly, who hits harder pound for pound, Inoue or Wilder? That's a hard one because Wilder could hit. It is, but you got to go again at Inoue for as small as he is and how he's knocking guys out like he is, and you do not see that at those weight classes. So
we talked about this the other day, Kelly, too. I think it was when I called you after that fight, and you had a good point. And Inoue, when he knocks you out, it's perfect technique. He knocks you out with just great technique. And you can see why he would knock you out. But with Wilder, he does everything wrong and knocks you the fuck out. That should not be even right. The way you don't punch off the back foot and knock somebody out for 5 minutes. You don't throw shoulder punches and knock people out. It just it doesn't make sense.
Generates
power, I know, but his technique. No, what I'm saying is his power is a lot more explainable to me. Like I can see why the power's there.
Yeah, Wilder, I don't know. So I would favor Wilder a little bit more in that. Hamed had another, or Jessica, yes. Roger Romo and Fernando Vargas are half brothers. Hamed goes, who has a better chin, AJ or Wilder?
Did Jessica correct you on that?
No, she asked the question.
Oh yeah, they're half brothers. Yes.
Yeah, Hamed goes, who has a better chin, AJ or Wilder? I got to say Wilder from what I've seen. He took a big shot against a guy like Ortiz and got up and won the fight.
Yeah. Right now with AJ, I don't know what we get with him. Sometimes he looks good, sometimes he don't. But either way, I don't think he beats Wilder. I wish there was a way that I could even see it. I don't see it. I think Joshua beats Ruiz, but Ruiz has fast hands. He might be the fastest handed heavyweight in the sport. Yeah. Honestly.
When is that fight coming up?
I think it's next weekend, right? But I don't know. And Eric's right. Wilder's built like Hearns, a giant Hearns. But the power he generates is from his back, and like he don't even turn his hips. He just kind of just throws something crazy, and people just go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is, I can't explain it, like the power.
But then if you really want to scientifically break it down, you have two very big guys. You got 240 pounds coming in,
220,
and you got 220 going at. And yes, that's why so many more knockouts happen at heavyweight.
Yeah,
I mean, anybody that's over 200 pounds has a chance to knock somebody out at any given time. As to where you're talking about guys at 118.
Yep.
I mean, that's really, really small. And again, go to BoxRec, pull up all the world champions, all the contenders, and look at the knockout ratios. There's not many of them.
True.
And for Inoue to go in, and he's not stopping the guys with body shots or due to cuts. He's knocking these guys out brutally. And so it really is. I mean, it's up in the air on that one.
Holly Gate says, hey, Holly, that's my daughter's cousin. Mm-hmm. My girl's first cousin, and she's been my friend for I would say 20 years now. So how you doing, Holly, sweetheart?
Yeah, that's another one I want to bring up real quick. We got a good question here, and I want to actually bring one up that we have not along the lines of this. Damon goes, good answer, guys. That's good. Thank you. We know our shit. Damon goes, is Juan Manuel Marquez the greatest counterpuncher boxing has ever seen?
Sugar Ray Leonard might have been.
Yeah, or Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
I think you got to put Floyd Mayweather up there. I think Leonard was a little more aggressive than Floyd. Leonard showed that he could do everything, though. That's why I have him the number one overall.
Marquez was the greatest Mexican counterpuncher.
Yeah, and he was really good at it. But when we talk about defensive fighters,
Yeah.
Who was actually another really good defensive fighter that made you miss and was always in position? He fought around my prime.
And he made you miss. He was always in position. What weight?
Between 147 and middleweight.
Floyd Mayweather?
Mm-mm.
Who?
Corey Spinks.
Oh shit! I forgot all about Corey.
Corey Spinks.
Corey Spinks fuck you up.
He was a hell of a defensive fighter. I mean, and he countered, and he was a hell of a counter. He made you pay for it when you missed against him.
Yes.
And he didn't really move too much either. I mean, he moved, but he was the guy that kind of like got down, got right there, and
they overlooked him because he didn't punch hard.
Yeah, because he had no power really.
Yeah. But he came from a great boxing DNA. Anytime, Holly, anything for you.
Jessica said, Kelly, you said in an interview that Canelo was not a natural middleweight. Is that still your opinion? Absolutely, it is.
He's small.
He's small. He's small. He's a decent sized junior middleweight, but he can get away with it. This era, middleweights are smaller, anyways. Yeah. Okay, Triple G is a natural middleweight because he's been fighting at that. But Triple G is 5'10". Back in the 70s and 60s and 80s. 5'10" was a good height. Now, no, these guys they're big, and but Canelo's just that good, and that's why I keep saying like, stay at middleweight. I think he could pick the guys at 168, and with his talent, he could get by and win. But when you start talking about the Benavidez and you start talking about Bivol and guys like that, I think he's biting off a lot more than he could chew, and I think he would actually get stopped in those fights.
Eric Spear says Nello weight 153.47. He's been fighting at 60. That's pretty much old. That's what they call. That's what the conservatives call fake news, or no, the liberals call fake news. He's 160 now. I mean, we can go back on the past of all these fighters and find something to shit on, but you can't deny the guy's talented. I don't give a fuck what weight he is.
Exactly. So if he's small or not, for middleweight, he's a hell of a fighter.
One of the show said James Toney. James Toney was a hell of a counterpuncher.
Yeah, he was in defense.
Yep. He would fuck you up. Luis said Juan Manuel Marquez was great at setting traps with his movement and bounce. Luis wanted to come on tonight and for a minute and because he's a reporter and he's a very big reporter and he wanted to come.
Luis, our boy from
he wanted to come on tonight and he wanted to talk about some of the shit going on, like with the way that these writers are writing a bunch of shit that's not so and things like that, getting away with it.
They've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you gonna do about it?
If
that would be cool. Hey, Luis, maybe we'll get you on though soon.
Yeah, I don't know if we have time, but
not today.
Next week or when the show comes off hiatus.
We'll set it up with you, bro.
Sakura says, will he fight a Charlo? I don't see why he wouldn't. He fought Danny Jacobs, was a hell of a lot better fighter than Charlo.
Yeah,
he fought Jacobson and Triple G, which are both better than Charlo. So why would he be scared of Charlo?
I agree.
That's like me wanting to beat up the 16-year-old kid when I'm 14, but skipping the fight on the 8-year-old.
You should do what I did, man. After Miranda and Taylor 2 times, I wouldn't fight Lockett.
Or no, you know what? You should do better than that. You should be accused of ducking what's his name? The welterweight.
Paul Williams?
Paul Williams, and moving up and fighting Hopkins at 75.
Yeah, Joe, 2 weight classes.
Wow. Yeah. So a middleweight's scared of fighting a welterweight, but he's going to move up to 175 to a weight he's never even touched and fight the greatest 160 in the world at the time. Makes sense.
At light heavyweight.
I want your input on the bare knuckle Paulie versus Anton.
I don't know.
Sakura, what youth? He's 28 years old. Canelo's 28. He's the same age. Charlo's are about the same age as Canelo.
Yeah.
She said youth. I said, no, they're the same age. Canelo's just been fighting since he's 14. There's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, Canelo really got like a prime 2 years.
Slavin said, are you ignoring me as a puncher? No, honestly not. The questions are just bouncing fast and it's hard for me to keep up.
Must be nice to have Facebook.
I want your input on bare knuckle. Like I said it before, and I don't know. a lot of people are talking about Kelly's punching power and things like, or Paulie's punching. Sorry, Kelly. Paulie's punching power and things like that. But there's a big difference when you get a pro fighter in a bare knuckle environment, and you'll be surprised how hard they hit when a guy's not used to being hit. I hear like all the people that like a lot of people talk. This Anton something he's an MMA guy. Yeah, it's a big difference. So it's a whole world of difference. But I've seen guys that like in the amateurs or even were pros that they used to get made fun of for the power, and they get into a street fight and just knock a dude turn him 10 toes up in a minute.
But
because
is this
it's different.
legit going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've been hearing about it for a while now. Damon goes, Kelly Pavlik, when you were active, you knew about guys that were on PEDs. PEDs. Did it piss you off? How do you feel about PEDs use now that you're out of the ring? Damon, thank you. Great question. Yeah, I was. And I even have more of a hate towards it now after my career is over, knowing some shit that I know. I personally think this, in combat sports, and I consider actually football is fucking close to it. I mean, you got guys throwing 250-pound bodies around at 16 miles an hour hitting each other. I think when you're on steroids or any sports performing enhancing drugs, I think that you should actually get like
A lifetime.
federal time. And I truly mean that, because not only is it cheating, but you're putting other people's health and lives at risk.
Yeah.
And just say that you don't kill somebody in a ring, but you permanently injure them to where they have kids, a family, and they can never be the same and never enjoy that again with your kids, because you have to cheat and go in there because you're too big of a coward to fight like a real man. And then to this day, and it carries over for me into lifting weights. I think like with powerlifting, when guys use that, that's not them doing that. So your achievements and your credit to me is not good. Don't matter, because that's not you doing that. I like the raw and the drug-free lifting, because those are people that are actually doing it themselves without using steroids, and everything that they lift, they accomplished. And going back to the combat, I 1,000% think that they should be jailed and go to the pen. It should be a federal offense that should stay on their record forever as an assault.
Artem says, Paulie Malignaggi hits hard as a fly. Slavin says, I'm like, okay, until you get hit by the motherfucker, and tell me he hits on a fly. Zach says, I just think Artem can pressure Paulie and hit him from the clinch too much. I don't know much about boxing, but MMA striking is my world, and I just don't think most pro boxers are used to that. That's absolutely not fucking true. I've taught MMA striking for years now, and we can hit out of the clinch, and we do very well out of it. What happens?
Did they really say that?
Yes. What happens when you're fighting and your hands get free like by an inch?
You learn how to chop it. You learn how to come down with it. That's like the biggest thing.
That's what we are good at. I am fucking dead on the inside. I will fuck you up on the inside if you let my hands free. Well, haven't you done this? Haven't you ever hit somebody and when they spun on you, you threw a left hook right off the bat? You already knew just to throw a hook on the way.
Yeah.
I've taught MMA striking for years to actually guys in the UFC, and I will definitely tell you, boxers can fight out of a clinch.
There is nothing with the hands that an MMA mixed martial artist does better than a boxer, and that's why, again, I said in a boxing match with Kreger and Mayweather, McGregor, that McGregor didn't stand a chance in hell, and he didn't. Don't tell me that he frustrated Floyd. Floyd fucked around with him and took him out. Now, where I'm not biased is if they fought in the octagon, I am smart enough to know that Floyd didn't stand a fucking chance in the octagon.
Not one.
So come on, you just got to be real. You can't be biased towards MMA. There is nothing that an MMA fighter does better with their hands than a boxer.
Nothing. And that's just like saying that there's a boxer who's trained in the MMA world, that he's gonna just go in there and he's just gonna he's gonna definitely fucking.
That's like saying Bernard Hopkins.
He's gonna submit a trained jiu-jitsu practitioner. It's not gonna happen.
Like Bernard Hopkins, who's good at tying you up and jumping in and holding you. But that's like me saying, you know what, he could give Gracie a good fight, because of how he's able to hold when he gets on the inside.
Yeah,
fuck no.
Oh yeah, when he gets on the inside, he's just gonna fuck up John Jones. You know what I mean? That's not gonna happen.
Exactly. Like it's, oh man.
Margarito was a piece of I agree. Margarito was a piece of shit.
Hamed guy go when he goes, was there any drug testing for the Hopkins fight, Kelly? B-Hop was suspicious, in my opinion. There was no lot of testing that time around.
It was 215.
I'm not going to say anything on that.
He was big. Was he a big heavyweight? Was he a heavyweight that night?
But Hopkins always what's hard about that also is he always treated still to this day, treats his body like a fucking temple. I mean, so I don't know if he put that shit in his body. I mean, he looked great for 215 and ripped, but Hopkins always kept himself in shape naturally. I mean, he takes care of his body.
So of course, Lobov did very well against Knight. That being said, well, that's Knight. That's not a world champion and a former world champion, Paulie Malignaggi. Knight was there to be hit. They both look like two drunken bar fighters on that fight. I'm not impressed. I'm impressed how much punishment they took, but that's not a professional fighter, a boxer. That's a whole different world when you have a
Dano says Lobov is going to KO Paulie.
Okay. Because Paulie's been KO'd by everybody, right? Big Puncher's never KO'd him. He has a great fucking chin.
What is that fight?
Didn't he walk through Juan Diaz? He walked through Juan Diaz's shit.
I think he did.
He walked through Broner's shit. Broner can punch.
Yeah, Juan Diaz, on the other hand, he's more of a where he beats you down type guy. But yeah, he did. I don't know. Hey, listen, that's not boxing, so I'm not gonna.
Oh, they're fighting bare knuckle. That's
I know.
it. There's no kicking.
Yeah.
There's no MMA.
I'm not gonna pick it out. Well, I mean, first of all, you got to remember too. When's the last time Lobov fought?
Oh, he fought this Knight guy, and they beat each other half to death.
But when?
Oh, a few months back.
Okay,
4 months
and
ago.
when's the last time Paulie fought? Anything?
It's been a couple of years, I imagine.
Yes, I mean, it was already he was a sparring partner for McGregor, and that was already 2 years ago.
When was the last time Floyd fought? When he fought McGregor, all right? And he came back.
That's it.
It's a different fucking
And that was
world.
sparring.
But don't, you know what? Bypass the gloves. The glove situation means shit. It's a different world when you're throwing hands with a trained fighter. It really is.
Damon said, speaking of clinch game, is Ward the last of the clinch game? Is clinching a dying technique? I would say Hopkins was more so than Ward of the clinch game. People don't realize that with Hopkins. I mean, he knew when to jump in, when to grab you, when you went to go punch, to throw off your entire rhythm. But I would say, yeah, him and Ward were probably the last of that clinching game.
Yeah, well, I think you have a lot of guys right now that they shit on Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah, I know.
But how many of them are going to be on here when Paulie whips his fucking
I know.
ass?
That's why I'm keeping all the names down on that.
Yeah, because you're going to get a big I told you so.
Right here on my. Who was the other one?
Write them down.
Who was the other one that said on there?
It's definitely Slavin. Or no, Zach. Zach said it too, and there's a lot of guys here. Paulie did late in his career, Zach, but who did it earlier? Nobody. This guy, and it's talent. It's a different level of fighting. Even if you're a big puncher in the MMA world, it's different.
That's been some time for Paulie being out. I mean, I know it's bare fist, but that's some time for him. MMA, they're nowhere near as good with their hands as boxers, but you're still staying active and you're still throwing hands.
Yeah, but
if you
this Artem is 20-21 as an MMA fighter too. 20-21, 21 losses. And his last bare knuckle fight, he looked like shit. He won, but they beat each other half to death. I'm not gonna.
She goes, Hopkins fought dirty in his days. It was borderline. Some of it was, but he knew how to get away with it. But at the same time, it was borderline shit. I'm not here going, to say anything bad. I mean, I think Hopkins was a great fighter. Some of the stuff he did was borderline dirty. And some of it was dirty.
Donovan said Hopkins knew when to bang your leg with a Charlie horse. Always wait till the referee's position to say that's just old school shit, man.
It is.
Trinidad was real big on that. Trinidad, fuck your hip up on the other side because that's just how that.
And obviously, I wasn't because I actually got a point deducted against me in that fight against all fucking people. Hopkins.
Yeah.
For doing that.
And Amy's right. Amy said people who are ill-informed love to underestimate Paulie. I'm not saying Paulie's getting in there fighting Spence. He's fighting Artem Lobov. You know what I mean? There's a difference. If he was getting in there and he was fighting Crawford, Spence, or anybody in the top 20, I'd say that's probably not the best thing for Paulie to do. But he's fighting Artem Lobov. Ryan wants to say, you think Paulie's getting knocked out, Kelly? Ryan's asked you that.
No, I don't. But we gonna get ready to wrap up today.
Louis said that Paulie's a tough, mean son of a bitch. He is. But yeah, hey guys, great show. Thank you.
We will be on next week.
Donna said you weren't stealthy
No.
enough with the fouling.
Next week's
No, we're on
no,
vacation.
yeah,
that was it.
We're vacating.
We're on vacation, guys.
Got a month
We
off
got
from y'all.
We have a month off. Justin's going on vacation, and so are we.
Send us a picture or something if you miss us.
Yeah, but hey, guys, also, while we're taking a month off, I'll be doing my news show, Take a Seat with Brian, and we'll be doing that on Tuesday at 3:30. Tuesday at 3:30, and catch us on Facebook. And maybe Kelly will come do the show with me.
We'll see.
You better. Hey, you better not. You better not.
Thanks, Damon. All right, guys.
Thanks,
we will
guys.
see.
Hey, and shout out to Luis Cortez for everything. And also, thanks for the support. And thank you, everybody.
Peace.
We were starting it. We did start it.